Hi, hello. Here we start with our next work, and it is A Century Later by Imtiaz Dakar. Imtiaz Dakar, she is a contemporary writer, a well known British poet, and she was nominated as a poet laureate in 2019, and very recently in 2020 January she got yet another position too. And we have to think about Imtiaz Dakar within the recent scenario of women's writing. Actually, she was given or appointed as a chancellor in the Newcastle University in January 2020. And in the present scenario, actually, we should think about her, because about the writing of Imtiaz Dakar. She is not only a poet but also a filmmaker. She is a well-known filmmaker, video filmmaker too. And in 2014, she got a gold medal for her poetry, Queen's Gold Medal. That was Queen's Gold Medal for her poetry, English poetry. And she have received many awards like the honorary doctorate, fellow of Royal Society of Literature, and many more for the themes in which she selected and the way of her presentation in poetry. I told you she is a contemporary writer. She was born in Pakistan and grew up in Scotland. And she has written five collections of poetry and often deals with the themes of identity. So we have to think about the themes in which she used to take. So her important themes in which he used to consider about was identity, the role of women in contemporary society, and when identity comes, of course, the search of meaning is also there. So identity, the role of women in the contemporary society, and search of meaning, these are the important themes in which she used to deal with. And she draws her multicultural experience in her work. Multicultural experience, I hope you can understand, because she was born in Pakistan and she was brought up in Scotland, and she will be having that interculture, I mean the um, multicultural themes in her work, because she know the culture of both Pakistan and of course of Scotland. She is a well-known British poet, by the way. And I told you she is also a filmmaker. And she had scripted a number of documentaries in India. So not only of Pakistan and Scotland, but also she might be knowing about the culture of India, because she had done her document most of her documentary films, and her filmmaking was based on India. So now the multiculturalism is understood. I hope it is understood by you people. So, and her documentaries and filmmaking was mostly depending on the theme of women and children. So this is all about Imtiaz Dakar. Everything else is there in the Google, but these are the some of the important points, not about her uh, birth or any other things, who is she married to or how is her life, is not very important. When it comes to studies, it is important that the work in which, I mean the theme in which she deal with. So it is mainly about identity, then women in search of meaning, and of course when women is a part, children will be also be a part of studies. Imtiaz Dakar, she herself describes her as a Scottish Muslim Calvinist. Just note it down, Scottish Muslim Calvinist. In her earliest books like Purdah and Other Poems in 1988 and Postcards from God. Another work it is, Postcards from God. In 1997, she explores what she calls her real country, like movement transitions crossing over, as well as the tensions between secular and religious cultures in a world of fear and emergent fundamentalism. So, this is what she explores about. That means how she is explaining a real country. It should be a movement transition crossing over, as well as the tensions between secular religious cultures in a world of fear, emergent fundamentalisms. So, some lines of postcards from gods and some lines of Parda and other poems describes these kind of what ideas of Imtiaz Dakar. So, in Postcards from God, we can see that the image of God as a black canvas, the image of God as a black canvas, and it is infilled with images, postcards, and print. And it is actually a typical darker poetry. We haven't ever seen such a theme or such a way of presentation of God in any other works. So it is a typical darker presentation on God in her poetry that was highly visualized or layered. So that kind of black and white drawings actually shows the how she have composed the lines, patterns, and repetitions. So we can see that her theme, her ideas, and all were really unique. As a Muslim girl which was born in Pakistan, and how she describes God was really unique. So we can see the difference of Dakar's theme, ideas, and presentation of poetry with the other works, even other poets by her works itself. Okay, I hope you understood her uniqueness.
A century later, the school bell is a call to battle. Every step to class a step into the firing line. Here is the target, fine skin at the temple, cheeks still rounded from being 15. Surrendered, surrounded, she takes the bullet in the head and walks on. The missile cuts a pathway in her mind to an orchard in full bloom, a field humming under the sun, its lap open and full of poppies. This girl has won the right to be ordinary, wear bangles to a wedding, paint her fingernails, go to school. Bullet, she says, you are stupid. You have failed. You cannot kill a book or the buzzing in it. A murmur, a swarm. Behind her, one by one, the schoolgirls are standing up to take their places on the front line.
So, as I told you earlier, this is the poem in which we are going to deal with a century later. And I hope you heard the poem, and I'm attaching the poem as a word format in your classroom also. Don't worry about that slide which is that inserted in between the video. It is also there in the material. It is just the poem and that slide, so you can go through that and just note down the lecture points also. We'll deal with the poem in the next class. Thank you so much.